Welcome to the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority Planning Commission meeting. Call to order at 6:41 p.m. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi.
Present.
Councilmember Thailenda.
Present.
Councilmember Marquez.
Present.
Councilmember Calderon.
Present.
We have quorum.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready? Begin.
Please remain standing for the invocation.
Good evening. Father in heaven, first of all, God, we are reminded as Christmas is just around the corner, we are reminded of the greatest gift, Lord, that you have given to mankind. That's the Lord Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world. And Lord, it is in his name, God, that we ask for wisdom amongst the council tonight, Lord. And God, for the citizens of the city, Lord God, may we all find a place of where we can reason together. We pray for unity in the city of Calexico, Lord, and God, a blessing upon this council meeting tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Please be seated. Closed session announcements.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council met in closed session regarding 3 agendized closed session items and took no reportable actions.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda.
Mayor, I have a comment. Agenda item number 13 was requested to be placed on tonight's agenda by Councilmember Marquez with a second from Councilmember Calderon in writing to the city manager. This item was inadvertently not sent to the mayor for approval and therefore did not meet the agenda policy. Therefore, we are requesting that the council remove this item from tonight's agenda.
Okay, so we're moving item number 13 for the next agenda.
No, not for the next agenda.
Oh, okay.
We're just removing it from tonight's agenda.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, do we have a motion to approve? Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi.
Yes.
Councilmember Thailenda.
Yes.
Councilmember Marquez.
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon.
No.
Motion passes.
Okay, we'll move on to presentation. Item number 4, proclamation honoring Victor Felix for 37 years of service to the city of Calexico. Is Mr. Felix here?
They're not here.
He's not here? So we'll read it when he can make it? Or do you want us to do it anyway?
None of the 3 persons are present, so I prefer to not do it.
Okay. All right, so we'll move this to the next agenda and let him know
Yeah,
in
please.
time. Okay, thank you. Moving on to announcements. Do we have any announcements from the council? I do want to announce that tomorrow we are going to have the City of Calexico State of the City address right here in the back at Rockwood Plaza. It's open to the public and the community is invited to attend. Reception is from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. and then the address will start at 6:30 p.m. and the event will end at 8. Like I said, it's open to the public and all the community is invited to attend. Okay, anybody else? All right, so we'll move on to public comment. Do you want to read the?
This is the time for the public to address the city council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The city clerk will recognize you and you come to the microphone. Please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. Group commentators may be requested to limit their group comments to 15 minutes. The city council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council. The mayor and city council reserve the right to adjust this time limit based on the number of speakers who wish to address the mayor and the city council.
Okay, thank you. And as a reminder, public comment is limited to a maximum of 30 minutes. If additional time is required for public comments, it will be heard towards the end of the meeting after discussion and potential items. It is now 6:46 p.m. Public comment would end at 7:16 p.m. Okay, do we have any public comment?
We do. Juan Moran.
Good evening, Honorable Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and members of the public. I'm Juan Moran, Vega Street in Calexico, and I speak on behalf of some of the residents of Vega Street, Elena Drive, and Elena Place. Thank you for allowing me to continue our petition presentation tonight. I will pick up where I left off due to time constraints on the last council meeting in our petition to replace decrepit fence between a commercial property and adjacent residences. We respectfully request that the City of Calexico take the lead in identifying and securing supplementary funding sources, whether through grants, infrastructure improvement programs, or intergovernmental partnerships, to help offset the financial burden on local residents. We urge all stakeholders to collaborate on this essential infrastructure upgrade and commit to a fair and timely resolution. We especially call on the City of Calexico to champion this effort, both by supporting the project and by actively seeking additional funding to ensure its feasibility and success. And that's the end of the petition document language submitted on November 17th to the city clerk. And for context, I want to note that a similar project was already completed for residents along Imperial Avenue, north of the All-American Canal. We are south of the All-American Canal. In that case, deteriorating fencing was replaced with a uniform cinder block wall, improving safety, privacy, neighborhood aesthetics, and value. That successful precedent shows both the feasibility and the positive impact of such an upgrade, and it strengthens our request for the same consideration in our area. You can virtually drive using Google Maps Street View and see the entire boundary wall starting immediately north of the canal all the way to the shopping center where the Cardenas Market and Big Five are located. In closing, this petition is not just about replacing a fence, it is about ensuring safety, fairness, and community well-being. With the precedent already established north of the canal, we know this project can be done. We respectfully ask the council to extend the same commitment to our neighborhood and to help us achieve a stronger, safer, and more unified boundary between residential and commercial spaces. Thank you for your time, your consideration. We greatly appreciate your time. Thank you and happy holidays.
Thank you, sir.
Carmen Carboni.
Hello, hi everybody. I'm Mrs. Carmen Carboni. I'm here for representing my neighborhood, and this street in Moreno. The reason I'm here is that I had requested assistance from 3 members. The mayor, I have a copy, if you would like a copy of the letter that I sent to you guys, and I haven't gotten a response. I'll just give city manager.
To the clerk.
City manager.
But you give everything to the clerk, and then the clerk
If you
will
could give the
distribute.
documents to the city clerk, please, ma'am.
The 3? One for
Yeah, she'll give them to us.
and city manager and chief of police. I sent that letter October 18th, requesting assistance for some automobiles parked in our back street that is between 98 and Navarro Street, going north is Navarro and Moreno. On that section, there's a lot of cars parked from San Diego that are being occupying that area. And the main cause is that they're stopping the view of us crossing over, and it's very dangerous intersection. I request on my letter stop signs and the cleanup, because those people that have been parking in that section, they're going to San Diego, and when they come, they throw their trash, their lunch, the bottle with urine that we've been cleaning, and it's a mess. I've been doing some of you guys' jobs, putting signs, and these people do not park on Wednesdays, so they could clean up, so that section could be cleaned up, but they don't listen. They don't listen. There was another letter from Mrs. Briseño, but it's just a short letter, that there was a car parked there for a whole month with trash inside. And finally, we called the chief or the police department so they could come and pick it up, but they did. They finally did that because it looked terrible. The main thing
Okay,
that
thank you, ma'am.
the reason.
So there's a time limit of 3 minutes, but, and I
Oh,
paused
I didn't
it
know
when
that.
you were giving us
I didn't know
the
that.
paperwork. But, Chief, can you just get her your information? Because that's a police department issue where he can give you that information.
Okay, but the other thing that I wanted to say is that I requested some calls from you guys, but I never got a call back.
Okay.
I left like 4 messages on your desk and 1 message to the city manager, and luckily I was able to contact the chief of police.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
I'm done? Okay,
But the chief he'll speak to you about it.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yolanda Cunningham.
Buenas noches, miembros del concilio, a todos los presentes. Les quiero decir que hay mucha frustración y enojo de lo que no le den la seriedad que requiere el problema del Parque Córdoba. Es una falta de respeto hacia nosotros, los ciudadanos, porque no se está avanzando y es muy frustrante ver que por la obstinación y terquedad de algunos de ustedes, esto no está caminando. Ya basta de fingir que a algunos de ustedes les preocupa el dinero. Los fondos del CFD se los gastaron transfiriéndolos al Fondo General, cosa que es ilegal. Existen actualmente 1.3 millones que se han colectado y los que se van a colectar este año. Dicho por la señorita de Finanzas, ese dinero es del Parque Córdoba y si hay dinero, señor Calderón, hay dinero, pero para rediseñar ese parque. Los residentes queremos que se aplique para realizar los cambios que favorezcan a todos, no solo a un grupo. Señor Cohen, ese dinero no es solo para mantenimiento, es ridículo que quieran engañar a la gente, ya basta de estar engañando. El parque está muy descuidado. Señores, la comunidad ya sabemos quiénes quieren legalmente arreglar este problema y quiénes solo quieren dar gusto a sus amigos beisboleros, y a esto se le llama tráfico de influencias y es muy penado por la ley. La ex mayor Hurtado y compañía utilizan a esos niños y sacrifican a otros, y a ustedes, señores, ustedes lo están permitiendo. Ella hacia mi persona solamente derrocha odio porque estoy tratando de que esto funcione para todos. Si siguen haciendo el parque ilegalmente, estamos listos para disolver el CFD y pedir que nos reembolsen todo lo que hemos pagado por años. Y aún así tendrán que respetar que debe de ser un parque comunitario y no regional, pues se deben seguir las reglas que aquí nunca se cumplieron. Si no siguen las recomendaciones del director de Obras Públicas haciendo los estudios de impacto, ustedes cometerán un delito. Es evidente que algunos de ustedes ignoran el fondo de este asunto y tampoco les interesa informarse. Están ignorando más de 300 firmas de esas familias afectadas directamente. Y recuerden que con esas firmas se hacen los recalls, si no lo saben. Finalmente, señora Márquez, la manera de ayudar a nuestra comunidad es respetando lo que la mayoría queremos. Escucha a sus ciudadanos, ustedes prometieron un cambio. Señora Márquez, no le estoy atacando, simplemente le estoy pidiendo, yo no sé quién la está aconsejando a usted, y se lo digo con todo respeto. No es nada en contra de su persona, no es personal. Y si de esa
Thank you,
manera, señora Márquez,
Ma'am,
usted me va,
ya
no,
se acabó su-
permítame,
ya se
no,
acabó su
es
tiempo.
que es
Ya se
que es
acabó su-
inaudito,
ya se
lo
acabó
toman
su tiempo.
personal y esto no
Señora
es
Cunningham,
personal.
por favor,
No
respete
es
el tiempo.
personal, ustedes
Ok.
están en esos puestos y nos representan,
gracias.
no a un grupo.
Mireya Velázquez.
Buenas noches a todos. Yo soy residente de Calexico, vivo enfrente del Parque Córdoba. Me llamo Mireya Velázquez, 1341 Garfield. Estoy aquí para apoyar a mis vecinos. Yo tengo hijos, quiero que usen el parque. Queremos que se respete lo que se dijo en septiembre, lo que quedó acordado. Ese parque nosotros lo hemos pagado, yo llevo viviendo ahí 10 años y pues no lo hemos podido disfrutar. Espero por favor que respeten a nosotros. Yo voté por varios de los que están aquí. Yo también fui de las que estuvo en la lucha cuando Santo Tomás se quemó y jamás nos hicieron caso, ninguno de los antiguos que estuvo aquí. Yo veo caras nuevas, ya tenía mucho que no venía, veo caras nuevas y espero que ustedes sí nos puedan, que cumplan lo que los ciudadanos pedimos. Ya firmamos todos, queremos que ese parque sea usado por nuestros hijos, por nuestros vecinos, gente también. Tenemos el otro parque que ahí está pegado también. Yo veo que va gente, o sea, niños, no solamente que somos residentes de ahí, yo veo que lo están disfrutando niños de otras partes, no nada más de Victoria. Entonces, este parque, por favor, ayúdenos a que se termine para que lo podamos usar todos nosotros, nuestros hijos y cuantos más vecinos quieran disfrutarlo. Yo no estoy en contra del béisbol porque también tengo un hijo en el béisbol, pero yo quisiera que ese parque se hiciera como se ha quedado, como queremos nosotros también. Queremos que haya canchas de básquet, otra cosa, porque pues nuestros hijos no nada más quieren béisbol, quieren más deportes. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right. At this time, we will close public comment and move on to city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members. I did want to give a update on the payroll matter related to the police department that was brought up at the last meeting. So the merit increases for the payroll that were not completed. The merit increase portions were completed at the this week's payroll, and the other portion related to retroactive amounts will be completed by the 12th of this month. So the POA has been informed of that. I want to thank staff for working very hard, finance and HR, following up on that matter, and that's behind us. So just wanted to give you an update on that. Thank you.
Quick question also for the fire department, the issue with them, so both of them?
Still in process.
Is that going to take a long time? Or you're just doing like one department and then the other one, or?
Yeah, I couldn't give you more of an update on that, but it's definitely something it's just starting and working on, yes.
Is that it for your report?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Moving on to commissioners' reports. Do we have any commissioner reports?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the council, and administrative staff, and the public of Calexico. Patricia Orena, Community Services Commission. Just to report that in October, we had our, or actually November, we had our meeting. And of course, at our meeting, I'm not sure if you're getting the minutes from our meetings related to all the requests that are on the agenda. And we are requesting additional information on Cordova, Heber expansion, and also on the MOUs with the organizations that use city parks. And the reason that we're asking for that is that we want to provide a report to the city council on what in-kind is being brought in from the city to these organizations, and what their standing is in terms of 501Cs and how they're organizing their leagues, how many kids are from Calexico or are residents or non-residents. Kind of gives us an idea if we ever wanted to start a fee study for residents and non-residents. Just the other thing too, just a reminder that on not this weekend, but next weekend is the Christmas parade in downtown Calexico, so hopefully we'll see everybody there. Our next meeting is on December 10th. We hope to see all of you there. There are going to be some requests from updates. I think I requested about 7 items, and that's it. But I think the important meeting that we're going to have as well is going to be January 14th. It is going to be a workshop style meeting for the entire public. If they want to come in and give us their input on what amenities they want to get done at Rodriguez and as well as Nosotros Park. There is some ARPA money still in the waiting to light up that field at Nosotros, but there's also a lot of damage that was done to the playground. For some of you that have not been out there, some of the other commissioners have been out there painting graffiti day after day, but now they're starting to solder the playground. The structure has been losing some of the piping on there, and it is a hazard. So with that, just wanted to let you know that we're going to be working hard to give everybody the opportunity to put what amenities are important to them to finish these parks. Otherwise, on December 2026, we will no longer have ARPA. So we need to use that money pretty quick. Within a year, it's going to be very hard to get all of those things done. So as soon as the January meeting is done, we're going to process that to the Public Works Department, and hopefully they can get moving on that. I know the lights have been ordered for Nosotros, but we still need to work on the soccer field so that we can utilize it a little bit better with more lighting. With that, I just also wanted to let you know that we're hoping to continue to work with the grants manager. There are grants coming up in January. Also with the county, there's benefit grants so that we can start looking at some of those grants to help facilitate and help the general fund with some of the expenditures. We're going to try to do some different things as we move forward with the planning of parks, and I'm hoping that as they start looking at the new budget, that you look at providing funding for a strategic plan that meets the needs of the entire city of Calexico. I know that I went to one of your first meetings, and economic development still seems to be at the top of the tier, along with public safety and of course, the big talk here in the valley, in Calexico, has always been our parks. So I think, when I first started, it was one park at a time, and now it's one project at a time. So we're hoping that we can finish Rodriguez Park, the snack bar, and the restroom facilities, so we can have a ribbon cutting. And I look forward to the State of the City, Honorable Mayor, and that's tomorrow. So we can listen to all the great things that have been done this past year, and we thank you all for what you do. Thank you very much.
Ms. Ureña, before you leave, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you mention? You said something about the nonprofits?
Yes. So what we have is we have nonprofits that use city facilities, and you have them everywhere throughout the state. You get a nonprofit organization, and then you run a league. And during that league, you raise money through registration to help facilitate, uniforms, equipment, and then use of the field in some areas. So the city of Calexico has been putting lights, sprinkler system. So it kind of shows you the in-kind that's being done with the city, because a lot of times you hear out here, well, the city doesn't do anything for us. Our parks are blighted. Well, one of them is the lack of staff. The other one is what park do we address first? So there's a huge need for parks, number one. We're already short on green space. But the other thing too is, what is it that these leagues can do to help us out as well? And I'm talking about the city, to make sure that the fields and the grounds that they're using are being used appropriately. I see that there's a great need for some training for some of these leagues, because everybody wants to use the facilities and the allocations are all over the place. I think Norma can attest to that. So when you do the allocations of the fields, you have to make sure they have the appropriate insurance, because the city doesn't want to be liable for any injuries. And when you start looking at residents and non-residents, a lot of people are coming from other cities to use our facilities in some of these leagues. So I want to know what's the balance. How many kids are coming from El Centro, Imperial? And we've done this before in other cities, because we saw that because Imperial is close to El Centro, there was a 40% increase of people coming from Imperial using El Centro facilities. So I kind of want to see what are the numbers, because if we're writing a grant, it's good data for us to use as well. So that's one of the other reasons. There's a high need for all sports, and I'll tell you that, we have a list of people that already submitted their paper. I didn't realize that there was more soccer programs out there. I drove by Cordova yesterday, and there was cars everywhere. But people were enjoying soccer programs as they were going on, and they're all parked on the side of the street. But I like the fact that people are enjoying a day of sports at that facility. For some of the other facilities, I had the opportunity to talk to kids yesterday from Willie Moreno, and I was telling them, what do you guys want to see out here at Nosotros? Because when we start looking at a new vision, they want a skateboard park. They want better softball lit fields and a place to go play basketball. So, it's important that we start talking to the kids from Willie Moreno, all the schools. And I'm talking in general, everyone in the community. When we talk about parks, we're talking about everybody in the community. So that's kind of what we're focusing our workshop on, and hopefully we can get kids from other parts of the city so they can join us, because that's the numbers we want to see.
I just want to know, you mentioned that other cities are doing it. What cities are doing this? Because it seems kind of intrusive to be looking into the finances of a nonprofit that's of a league.
It's City of El Centro. We did
They're
that
doing
because
it?
we wanted to make sure that that everyone is following, the nonprofit. If you have a nonprofit, you have to report that to the state, irregardless.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so at the end of the day, when or at the end of the season, if there's an end to any season, because some of them go year round, what's your end result? Do you have to bring up fees to help out the city with maybe more lighting, maybe more seating and things like that? It's to help the league that's using it. The leagues are doing the best they can. I mean, you see all these kids out there. These leagues are, people are running these leagues on a volunteer basis. So, we have to, make sure that they're also given some kind of hoorah for the stuff that they're doing, because without them, City Parks doesn't run those. They don't run soccer. They don't run baseball. They don't run softball. Basically, they run basketball, dodgeball, and volleyball. That's it.
I just don't want to I want to make sure that, because if we have fees, I understand the need for a study of how much you should charge, so that obviously we're not in the business of making a profit, just to maybe cover some cost of the constant use of these parks. My only concern is that if there's a fee set that you establish, that's a fee that gets paid by everyone, regardless of what they're making.
Absolutely.
So so if you have a league that is generating $5,000 and one that's making $1,000, you're not going to charge them a fee depending on what they're making. So why are we looking into their financial reports? I don't see that as a commissioner's job. Was that voted by
No.
So it hasn't been voted by the commission?
No, it was suggested that we look into what is being brought into each one of those leagues in case we need to find extra funding for them. Let's say you have this Little League program, and at the end of the season, they've only left $300 on their account. I mean, it's open to the public. You can look on the nonprofit status, whoever's running these leagues, and what their numbers are. But I do know that if you're you're dormant and you don't provide that information to the state, after 3 times, then you're kicked out. And that's what we don't want to happen. We want to make sure that these leagues have a strong budget to continue to do the work that they're doing. Because again, if we didn't have these leagues out there, you wouldn't see all those kids playing soccer. You wouldn't see all those kids playing, Little League. And we're still trying to bring up the softball and some other sports out there. So it's important for the city to have that data, so that when we seek out these grants, we can put it on there. We have a league here that is needing a soccer field, and we still don't have a soccer field for that league.
But if
Or
it
soccer
hasn't been
fields.
voted by your commissioners, why
Correct.
isn't it on your commissioner's report? Why are you reporting it to the council if it hasn't gone up for a discussion and a
It
vote
was
on your
discussed at the last meeting, and that's why I asked. I'm hoping that you're receiving the minutes from the Recreation
But
Department.
it wasn't voted on or passed.
No, it was just suggested that we review it, and if it's something that we need to look at a little bit deeper, we will.
I just don't want, my only concern is that I don't want the city to be held liable for any league or any entity feeling targeted, that because they're generating more or they have more players. A city fee is the same for everyone. So I don't know what the point of this is, but if you guys want to discuss it in your commission, and then if you have a majority vote, then bring it to the council. Because we're assuming that the commissioner reports are things that have been approved by the majority of
Not
the
all of them,
commission.
ma'am. Some of the agenda items that I put on there is so that the other commissioners can look at them, and they can also start asking questions. I don't want to be the only one asking questions. The only, the only thing I say is that if you're going to use a facility, just like anybody else is going to use it, that they have to make sure that they're especially covered for insurance, that your insurance is up to date. And it's not a target, but it's for data information only, how we can move forward to help the leagues, improve the quality of their play. Because it's hard to go out there and buy uniforms. It's hard to buy equipment. And so, as a commission, we can start looking and working with the grants people and let them know, hey, there's money out there for soccer, for fields, there's money out there for baseball, but we have no data. So what do we work off of? And I understand what you're saying, if there's a target. I appreciate everyone that's out there doing the work that they are doing, because I've been there, and that's not an easy job. It's not about targeting them personally, it's about targeting where we can help those leagues. Because every year they start off with $0. So how can we best help the leagues, especially here in our city?
Okay. Well, if it gets voted on, then maybe bring it back. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Okay, moving on to the city council comments and reports. Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. This month, this past 2 weeks, I attended the opening of 2 businesses, and I'm really excited. The Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein here at the Grand Plaza, and they had informed that they're looking into more businesses coming in, which is good news for Calexico. Councilmember Adriana Marquez and I met with City Manager and Public Works Director Jesus Villegas reference to the security cameras. This ongoing vandalism that's been occurring throughout Calexico, it seems like it's a weekly base type of deal. So we're looking at cameras. We're going to be looking at other cities and how they work their security cameras to make this happen as soon as possible. We're also looking at the truck routes. We have a meeting that's coming out regarding to that item. Councilmember Adriana Marquez and I met with City Manager, Public Works Director Jesus Villegas, Chief of Police, Code Enforcement, BIT Commissioners Blanco Morales and Yepes. We walked the downtown area and spoke to several business people out there, and had a visual of how these trash cans that are working out there. It looks like it's working really, really well. We saw the sidewalks. They appear to be clean. Obviously, there might be like some specks out there, but the removal of the trash can is working. So it looks clean out there. We looked at the alleyways. But one of the things that we're maybe looking at is probably securing the gates. The area where the gates were secured, locked, appear to be clean. So we're looking at making this better. So Councilmember Lencho Calderon and I met with Republic Services today, reference to the alleyway cleanliness and possibly, as I said, closing the fences. we had Councilmember Calderon and myself had coffee with some stakeholders at Jack in the Box, and I want to end this by thanking Public Works Director Jesus Villegas regarding to these Scaroni Road infrastructure. Good job on that. It's long overdue. So I don't know. It's been like that for years.
Forever.
And now it's being fixed, and then I believe sometime in January they're going to fix the streets, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And right now, we are removing and replacing the existing sewer manholes because of the condition. So basically, it's not an easy task. So basically, we are going to remove them all, so we secure the new structure for any failure, and then right after the manholes, the restoration of the road will be done. So basically, we are on the works.
And I heard you were supervising this you were out on the field from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m.? Is that correct?
That was another project. That is the replacement of a 20-inch water bulb, which is in anticipation of the restoration of the clarifiers. So that's another milestone, really important.
Clarifiers.
So basically, we're moving in two different fields, but yeah, really challenging.
You're
projects.
dividing yourself.
Oh, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's all I have to report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Thailenda.
Good evening, members of the public. The last 2 weeks have flown by. One big meeting we had was for the undergrounding of Beach Canal with city staff and Mayor Nuricumbo to look for ways with IID, how we can underground Beach Canal for various reasons. With that said, I'd also like to add that I'm very thankful for what's going on in Scaroni Road. That's awesome. It's really needed. And thank you, Ben, for the update on the POA. So that's all I have.
Councilmember Marquez.
Well, first of all, I hope that all of you guys had a happy Thanksgiving and happy times with your family. Since our last meeting, I was able to meet with Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi and the police department. Also with Councilmember Legaspi, city manager, regarding Cole Road. We did also enjoyed the tree lighting. It was beautiful. Thank you so much to all our city employees that made that possible. City manager, Chief Orozco, and Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi and myself met for the security camera issues. Councilmember Calderon and myself also met with members of the community, especially senior citizens, in regards to the community center. They had some concerns, and we were there to hear them out. I also met with Councilmember Calderon and members of our community, Yolanda Cunningham, Carla Ibarra, Jenna Martinez, Berta Carreño, and Julio Rocha, to hear their concerns. We also had a walkthrough through downtown Calexico with the Bid Commission, and that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Calderon.
Yeah, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. And I hope, like Ms. Marquez was saying, that you enjoyed your Thanksgiving with your families and friends. Well, they always steal my thunder, so I was with him and with her. But I also attended the Christmas tree lighting, and that was well attended by our citizens. A lot of prizes went out, and I like, to see the children smiles when they were winning these prizes, and there was like 15 prizes out there for them. So again, thank you, Ms. Gerardo, for a well job done. And that's really, I have met with some of my constituents. We have taken care of some of the issues. We're still working on some of the issues that were out there. Hopefully, the police chief and Public Works will take care of them, and I appreciate all your hard work. And again, I got to see Mr. Villegas working last night. Thank you for your hard work, and it speaks volumes of you because you lead by example. And you were there with your troops until 5:25, so I appreciate all your help. And again, Some of my peers mentioned Scaroni Road. That it has been long due. And this time we're doing it right. We're starting from the bottom up. Manholes are being replaced. That way, when these nice roads are paved, we don't have to go in there and tear them up. So again, thank you, Mr. Villegas, and keep working to make Calexico great again. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Okay, thank you. We, like Councilmember Thailenda said, we met with the IID directors, Director Pacheco and Director Eugenio, and then one of their, I believe it was one of their executive staff members from the water department, and we were looking at discussing some canals, specifically the beach canal, but also we found out of a good opportunity that the IID has where we can maybe be put on a wait list and maybe, convert it at some point, if possible, into like a jogging path or somewhere on the north end of Calexico. So that was a very interesting conversation. Also, I just want to take the opportunity to thank you for doing this, with the police department, getting the finances squared away. And also for the community center, it turns out that they are going to have their 2 classes the first 2 weeks of December. So I'm hopeful that, I'm sure that they're very happy. And I want to thank you guys for doing that. The other part, we still have some questions about, but we'll talk about it. The other part about the agreement with the temporary employees. But thank you for fixing the issue for the people that use the city's recreation department. And that's all I have. So we'll move over to the consent agenda. Do you have a motion to approve?
I motion.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo,
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi,
Yes.
Councilmember Thailenda,
Yes.
Councilmember Marquez,
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, item number 10, it is recommended.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I just want to make a quick comment on item 9. It was on the consent. I just want to thank staff and the POA for working together, finance staff, again, HR and the POA, finally getting approval of this, that you just approved this side letter. This is, this was as a result of an audit with CalPERS, and it's going to avoid a lot of problems. So we got it done just in time. Thank you all for the cooperation and getting it done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item number 10, it is recommended the City Council review of the Police Department's annual military equipment report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council, members of the public. I submit to you today our annual military weapons report, which highlights all the items that we currently have in our inventory that classifies under AB 481 that has to be reported on an annual basis. This report's for your review and complies with the state statute.
Do we have any any comment on it? Okay. Do the council have any questions or comments? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
I
So
motion.
moved.
Oh,
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I second.
Mayor Noricumbo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi,
Yes.
Councilmember Thailenda,
Yes.
Councilmember Marquez,
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, item 11, appointment by Councilmember Marquez to the Business Improvement District.
Staff had a comment on that, the city attorney.
Yes, Mayor, in accordance with the municipal code, the majority of the council has to vote on the appointment.
On what?
On the appointment.
Really?
Yes, that's in accordance with the municipal code.
Oh, I thought she was gonna appoint, okay. So we have to vote to approve your appointment?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I motion to approve. Did we have a second?
I second.
So we vote to approve her appointment, so who's your appointment?
And she's not here today. Does she have to be here or?
No.
Oh,
No, she doesn't.
so.
So there's a first and a second, so.
Yeah,
So we
roll
can
call,
vote.
roll call to approve her to appoint her own commissioner.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thalinda?
Yes.
Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I do have one comment. Last board meeting or council meeting, we had Ms. Thailenda also bring one up. Are we gonna bring him back? Bring the appointment back?
Yes, we're discussing that with the city manager, but I think we're gonna have to bring those back. The municipal code requires that if the council member doesn't appoint within the 45-day period, the majority of the council has to approve the appointment.
All right, thank you, Attorney.
Okay, so even if each council member finds a commissioner after 45 days, the entire council must approve?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we have the appointment, was it Tanya? Okay, all right, item number 12. Discuss and review the proposed emergency medical services, transportation and optimization study, recommendation to establish an ambulance enterprise fund, and approval of the associated budget amendment resolution to reallocate ARPA funding for the project.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Tonight, staff is requesting the approval to engage with AP Triton to conduct a comprehensive EMS transportation and optimization study for the city of Calexico, as well as to look into the direction to evaluate the creation of an ambulance enterprise fund with the approval of the associated budget amendment to reallocate some funds from the ARPA delayed projects or non-existent projects that have not continued to fund the project. I think this study was brought to council almost a year ago now, was something that I think we need to do to capture and provide a better service for the city as far as our EMS and ambulance go. I think it's a huge benefit for the community as a whole, and my recommendation is for council to move forward with this study, which is about a 3 to 4 month process.
Okay, do we have public comment or comment on? Okay, does the council have any questions or comments?
I think it's really important to make this happen. I mean, we need to make a study in order for, finance to come in, financially to come into our city. I think it's important, and I think it also makes it best for it'll help out with the medical services for the people out there in Calexico. So.
I also want to thank Ms. Chaparro on this, because I think we sat in her office for a good 3 hours, and it was like the hottest office ever, trying to get this study up to date and right for the council approval. But we worked diligently on the wording and funding source and whatnot. But I want to thank her for her hard work to sit there in a hot office for 3 hours trying to get the staff report done.
No EC.
Okay.
Well, the comment I have, I want to commend you because the ambulance service has yielded revenue for us, and that is something that we haven't seen in our past. And also, this study will provide a roadmap for you so we can improve the service to our citizens.
Right.
And again, thank you for your hard work, and hopefully we can improve.
And I always like to mention, before we came, I was sitting with staff, we got an email from the county kind of questioning when the implementation of our ALS ambulances occurred, right? Because they're moving forward with LIMSA, which is a local EMS agency in the county and the state, kind of questioning our 201 right, but we were able to find that 1975, the city of Calexico City Council approved the first paramedic program within the city to move forward. So we are grandfathered in. So I kindly sent that back to Mr. Craiglow for the county to let them know that we are compliant with our 201.
Okay, anybody else? I just wanted to, so we've been working on this since the beginning of the year, and I'm glad that we finally got to this point. Just to let our citizens know a little bit, I don't know if you recall towards the early part of the year where we lost 4 paramedics all at once. And what this does, by enterprising the ambulance services, it keeps the money within them. So we're the only city in the valley that still has operate our own ambulance. Everything else is outsourced. So we do have a high need for ambulance services. We have, because we cover the border, and we also don't have a hospital in the city of Calexico. So this is something that will very much benefit our citizens, because since we don't have a hospital, and we need to have the best paramedics that we can have in our city that will ensure that you make it to the hospital in a good condition. And they are generating money, but it's important that they're able to, keep that money so that the citizens can have the best paramedics that we can have, the best, ambulances, equipment, training, precisely because we don't have a hospital, and we were in this situation early this year. So thank you for that. And anybody else?
How do you feel, Juan?
It feels good. There's still a lot of work to continue. It's one thing off the plate, but there's 10 other items on there that that I'm still working at. But I want to thank the council for continuing with this project, especially the mayor and yourself, Lisa, for taking a ride with me to Chula Vista and looking at the overall picture, what the possibilities are, and continuing with this study, and continuing with the support of public safety moving forward. And thank you so much. And like you mentioned, it is going to benefit the community as a whole, because if we are able to invest in the EMS service and provide additional staffing and additional ambulances, my goal and vision as a department head and chief is for, if a resident calls 911, you get a Calexico ambulance. You don't get a private ambulance that's coming out from outside the city, because it's a different type of pay rate, right? And the overall goal is to sustain our own ambulance and provide a 911 service, and you get a Calexico fire ambulance, which is 20 to 30% lower cost because it's a public service. And not only doing that, but as well as understanding that when the ambulances are gone, you're removing 4 firefighters from the city. So if we're able to create a new staffing model, you're adding 4 firefighters to the suppression side of the department, which is big. But again, I want to thank you for moving forward with this and bringing it to, allowing me to bring it with council with the help of Carla, and thank you.
I have one more question. How does the fire department feel about it? Your team?
Josh, do you want to answer that? Just put him on the spot.
It's a big deal. This is a big deal. This is something that's taken and been dreamt about since I started and Legaspi started, and I'm excited for the fire department.
Good evening, council. Wasn't prepared for this, but yeah, it's a big step in the right direction. We've been understaffed for, I don't know how long now.
Josh, talking.
We've been understaffed for 15 years now. I'm not really sure exactly. We were 30 personnel back in 2006, 2008. We got dropped down to 25. Down to 25. We upped an ambulance back in 2020, meaning we're supposed to add 6 personnel to staff those ambulances. And since then, we've had to overtime for everybody. So 2 positions a day are added for overtime every day to staff that extra ambulance, which that second ambulance brings in that revenue for the city. So we've been constantly trying to get that staffing back to the appropriate levels. This is one way to do that, and to, again, get that force that we need to provide the services for the city. So.
Well,
I think he meant that he's very happy.
Yeah, he's very happy. That's what he said,
if
right?
we can get that in there.
So I'm very proud of your leadership and the team. You guys are awesome, and I've seen you guys do all kinds of things, from grants to now enterprise fund and privatizing this. So I'm really happy for that department and for the city. So thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
This is also, and just, for all departments to know that, and especially for finance, because now you're going to have to be very careful with how, ensuring that the budget is always, in line with everything, because just this year, I think we saw last meeting or the meeting before, the ambulance services got us out of a hole on something else and made us balance the budget. So if this passes, it means they're keeping their money because they're going to make their department top-notch ambulance service department. So now the rest of the departments are going to have to watch their money because the ambulance, the fire department isn't going to bail them out anymore. So that's what this does. Just so you know, and we're clearing it out. And so, you know, it's good because we need, the citizens here want to rest assured that if we have to call them, they're going to come fast and we're going to get the best that we have. So it's good for the citizens. It's maybe not so good for the rest of the departments, but it's a good thing too because it makes them, you know, take care of their money and plan ahead. So, anybody else? Okay. Do you have a motion to approve?
I
Do you have a
second.
second? Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thailenda?
Yes.
Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Item number, oh, okay, so we're done with discussion. We're gonna now go on to our public hearing. Item number 14, introduction and first reading by title only of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calexico, California, amending Chapter 17.03 residential zones, of the Calexico Municipal Code relating to accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units, and finding the action to be statutorily exempt from CEQA under the Public Resources Code 21080.17. Okay, I'd like to open this public hearing at 7:37 p.m. Is there a presentation from staff?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of council. This item requests that you introduce and read by title only a proposed ordinance amending Chapter 17.03 of the Municipal Code pertaining to accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units, commonly referred to as ADUs or JADUs. The proposed ordinance would bring us into conformity with state housing law as it pertains to ADUs, including with statutes that were adopted this year and become effective January 1st of next year, 2026. Just a little background, the city's ADU and JDU regulations were last amended by ordinance number 1181 in 2018. The proposed amendments would bring us up to speed with current regulations and the new laws that were adopted this year, specifically AB 1154, SB 9, not to be confused with SB 9 from 2021, which relates to urban lot splits and two-unit projects, and SB 543, which go into effect on January 1st. Cities are required to bring the regulations into conformity with state law. Otherwise, state law would govern, and we could be penalized by HCD or the Housing and Community Development Department. HCD has provided direction on the format of this ordinance, and they do like it to be a standalone ordinance, and that's what's presented before you tonight. The most substantive changes to our municipal code include a definition change for JDUs. It's being refined to stipulate that you can convert up to 500 square feet of interior livable space. So there's interior livable space excludes like the water heater compartment, things of that nature. There's also a change in the approval timeline. It requires us to review and approve ADUs within 15 business days. And we have to have an exhaustive list of any corrections within those 15 days. So fortunately, I do have a planner starting on December 15th to assist with this new timeline that the state has imposed upon us. Written appeal option is now also required under state law, and it's incorporated in this ordinance. And so now it used to be that the director's decision was final on these. Now it could be appealed to city council. And the only appellant can be the applicant. So no neighbor can appeal an ADU decision. There are also, there's also a little greater clarification on the different types of ADUs. The state has always opined that there's a class 1 and class 2 type. Statutorily allowed type, we have to allow ADUs up to 800 square feet. We have to allow a conversion of a space within a home. And we also have to allow up to 800 square feet of a detached ADU of up to 800 square feet, regardless of where it's at on the property, regardless of setbacks, minimum setbacks being 4 feet from property line, and those are statutorily required. Now with the Class 2 ADUs, those we have more local control over, and that's kind of the benefit of having a compliant ADU ordinance, is that we can control these a little more, and those we can set objective standards, and we can include a height limit for those sorts of ADUs in the backyard. We could limit those to 16 feet, and that's reflected in this ordinance. So another change is that owner occupancy is no longer allowed for junior ADUs unless they have a shared bathroom. So if a junior ADU has its own bathroom, there's no requirement that the owner live in the main residence. Deed restrictions will still be required for junior ADUs. The deed restriction essentially just states that they can't sell the junior ADU separately from the home. And then the fees, so this is interesting, and this is something we've already conveyed to the school district, but based on they actually made a change to the education code specifying that anything under 500 square feet cannot be charged an impact fee, a school fee. And so it used to be that a lot of school districts would not follow the 500 square foot exemption because it wasn't written in the education code. So now it's specifically written in the education code. So the benefits of adopting this ordinance is that it'll give us greater local control over the Class 2 ADUs. It includes architectural standards, so the ADU has to be similar in architecture, the slope of the roof. If it's the main residence has a tiled roof, we can require the ADU to also have a tiled roof. And we can also impose landscape requirements. And so we'll require at least one tree for every 10 lineal feet of an ADU in the front yard. So that's a huge change because in the past we weren't allowed to impose that sort of condition. And also a big, huge change is the detached ADUs in the rear yard. They do have to conform to a 16-foot height limit, and that would basically preempt any two-story ADUs in backyards. And then of course having an ADU ordinance that is compliant with state housing law will help us achieve certification of our housing element, because the state wouldn't certify our housing element if we have an ADU ordinance that's out of compliance. As such, staff does recommend that you move to approve the draft ordinance and provide any comment. We can approve it as proposed or with modifications suggested by council. Thank you. That completes staff presentation.
Okay, are there any questions for staff? I do have a question. So everything proposed here is required by law?
Yes, it mimics state law. It's basically verbatim from state law, except the Class 2, that's where it gives us, for the Class 2 ADUs, it gives us a little more flexibility on what standards we want to adopt, like architectural standards.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to focus on. There's things we can't control, so that's state law. The things that we can control, can you repeat that again? Because I just want to, that's specific to what we're doing.
We can control the height in the backyard, for example.
And you're recommending that, so that it's not a two-story? Is that what you're recommending in the ordinance?
Yes, because of privacy concerns, we wouldn't want someone erecting a two-story detached ADU in the backyard.
And then what's the
that
other?
would potentially peer over someone's backyard in the single family, and it would only apply in single family zones.
And what other change is the city recommending?
Also ensuring that they provide a plant in the front yard. If it's devoid of landscaping, they would have to landscape the front yard in order to get the ADU permit.
Okay, just those two that we're adding on top of?
The architect, those are the main ones, and then also the size limit in a class 1, that's also at the discretion of council. Staff recommendation is that we allow it to 1,400 square feet. It would really be dictated by lot coverage. So really it would, something of that size, it's recommended by HCD in order to accommodate large families. So that you could accommodate an ADU with more than 2 bedrooms, potentially.
And then the impact fee, you said that this new law, if it's less than 500 feet, they don't pay a school impact fee, but they still pay our permits?
So they pay building permit fees, but they wouldn't, so anything under 750 square feet would still be exempt from our impact fees. If it's greater than 750 square feet, then they would be subject to our development impact fees.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Do we have, let me see, and we don't have anyone from the public with any questions? Okay. So being that there is no other speakers, I'll close the public comment portion of the hearing at 7:47 p.m. And if there's no council discussion, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Do you have a second? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thalinda?
Yes.
Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, moving on to informational items. Item number 15, receive and file Library Board of Trustee minutes for meeting on October 6, 2025. No action necessary, right? Item number 16, local appointments list 2026 in conformance with the MADI Act, California Government Code 54970. Nothing? Okay, item number 17, informational item, derelict property abatement and receiverships.
Our planner was going to give a brief presentation if you'd like on that item. However, I would just open it up by saying it's apparent upon my arrival, this is something I'm happy that the council is interested in directing staff to provide this initial report on derelict and properties that require abatement due to nuisances in the community. So this is just a very first step. We appreciate your support and comments on this report. If Michael can give a brief report on this, and then we'll be coming back with more detailed service contracts and things that we'll need to move forward with the program.
So in reviewing our municipal code, we do currently have strong tools to address some of the properties that are derelict, including Chapter 8.44, which dictates how we abate any nuisances, including derelict properties. Those are basically properties that have deteriorated, that are more than just abandoned. Abandoned could mean a property without a home on it that's been raised. These are nuisance property that can become an attractive nuisance. And so there are mechanisms in place. We also have an ordinance that already requires abandoned properties to be registered with the city. So that's going to require follow-up from staff to see what lists we already have compiled, if any. In reaching out to colleagues that work in code enforcement, they did recommend that we go through abatement process first for a lot of these nuisance properties. That receiverships are really meant when an owner is just unreachable, either because someone has passed away and the property wasn't bequeathed to anybody, or it was intestate. So in those circumstances, derelict properties can also go through receivership. I did research past abatements that the city has done. There was one that the city completed in 2018. The main issue there is the funding. So the city does have to allocate funding to either restore the home or raise the home if in certain situations where it merits being demolished. And so in that instance, back in 2018, where the city did abate a home by raising it, the city did spend $50,000 initially. The city can recover the money eventually by placing a lien on the property. And normally if property taxes are unpaid for a term of 5 years, then there'll be a tax sale by the assessor's office, and then with the sale of the property, that's when we would recoup any money that we initially allocated toward the abatement. Receiverships work a little differently. So a receivership is, you could work through either our legal department, through our city attorney's office. They would get a court order to appoint someone to oversee the property and take control of the property. Alternatively, there are firms that specialize in receiverships. The benefit there is that I believe that they would, quote unquote, front the money for the initial abatement. They could also take out loans against the property. They can hire contractors to do the abatement on behalf of the property owner. And similarly, they can, for any of their expenses for the receivership, they can also place a lien on the property and eventually recoup their money similarly as the city would if we were to complete the abatement ourselves. And that's mainly, so those are our tools. We do have those. The abatement ordinance is pretty strong and currently in place. And so it's just executing it and seeing if you guys want us to allocate the funding. I'll speak with the city manager about maybe to see if maybe housing funding can be used. I know that we're gonna get some housing, some funding from, for example, Dianza Hotel that's constrained to be spent specifically on housing improvement. So maybe we could use that funding source to complete some of these abatements. That completes the report.
Do we have any public comment? Do we open up for public comment on this or no? No comment? Or is it non-informational? Okay, how about the council?
Yes. About how many abandoned residents, destroyed residents, vandalized residents do we have out there that needs to be?
Oh, sorry, I haven't done that research,
No,
sir.
there's a lot. There's a lot of them out there, and this is definitely
anecdotally, yes, there's many.
This is definitely way overdue. It's been like that for years, and I know as a police officer, I've mentioned this before, and it's always been placed under the rug. But I'm glad, and I have confidence in you and the city manager that we're going to go forward with this. This is, like I said, it's another thing that's overdue. So good job on that, just like the Scaroni Road. So if we can make this happen, I think the eyesore is going to go away. So thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question. Mr. Coyne, last regular meeting, we had a couple here that actually were almost a victim of their house being burnt on something similar on 7th Street. What steps have we taken to try to help these individuals?
So we've already cited the property owner numerous times. In looking at the code, I think now that property, that one that has burned down, merits what's called a summary abatement. And we could immediately move, we would need an allocation of funding from council in order to demolish the property.
All right.
So that's an option that we can discuss internally.
But if we demolish the property, how do we recoup our money?
We would place
We place a lien on the property.
For our expenses.
Yeah. How about, we have squatters there. How are we dealing with that?
I would refer that to the police chief who oversees code enforcement.
So as we're very much aware, the property has squatters there, so our patrol officers regularly go in there and kick people out. Also, when the residents call us saying that there's somebody suspicious there, we'll go out and we'll kick them out there. Again, code enforcement is, active at trying to, find the owner. That's one of those where the owner, is not found. That's where we're going to go do the summary abatements where I think it's warranted.
So do we have an ordinance on it already?
Yes, we do have an ordinance.
And does the ordinance have a timeline when a property is identified as a nuisance, when we should go in and start, doing the noticing, and so that it doesn't? Because my question is, maybe we should develop some type of policy or ordinance so that we don't have to have, like he said, neighbors calling. It's like, we identified a property, it's already a nuisance, we know it's abandoned. At what point would the city start the process?
Yeah, there's no dictated timeline for action. There's just a noticing procedure. So we do try to engage with the property owner to get compliance first. That's the initial goal, is to have the owner comply with our abatement, our citation.
But how long are we gonna wait for them? That's my thing. If we don't have
Yeah.
timelines in the ordinance, how long are we gonna wait for them to comply? How long are we gonna wait for until we go in there and demolish and then place a lien? Because if there's nothing specified in the ordinance, then nothing gets done. So I think I would recommend that something like that get done, so it's an automatic thing, once these properties are being identified by either patrol or someone, that there's a nuisance in those properties and you can't find the owner. So that kind of triggers automatically the process.
We could do it potentially as a policy, where we would have a standard operating procedure for this, or we could look at doing a text amendment of the ordinance and including that, a timeline within the ordinance itself. So that is a potential that we could look at.
Do you guys have more questions? No? So, okay, can we get maybe we'll bring it up on future agenda items, but we'll probably, at least I'll be asking for it to be again on the next one, so that we know what are we doing, because we're not gonna stop until we fix this issue. There's too many properties, and we're such a small city that there's so many that's part of our beautification effort, that we need to start addressing these issues and the safety of the neighbors. Okay, so nobody else have any questions? All right, so we move over to future agenda items. Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Also, reference to, I know we've been having a lot of issues with our parks. Maybe we can go back and look into closing the parks during the graveyard hours and see how we can, work on these people that are coming in and vandalizing our parks, because this is like a once a weekend or every other day event. Also, the fee studies, maybe in the January council meeting,
I wanted to interrupt you because the thing on the parks, you're asking for it to be, I would like to second that so that it's on the next agenda, please. Because that's how the policy works. So if you're asking for it in a public meeting and you want information on what we're doing with the parks, I also would like to second that. That way it has to be on the next agenda.
Okay. The fee studies for January, if we can have some form of a report on where we're at with that. And that's all I have.
I'd also like to second that. Councilmember Thailenda.
I have a couple. Informational items on the next council meeting. I'd like an update on the JPIA status, where we're at. Can I get a second?
I'd second that.
I'd also like an update on the Heber Park project, because we were getting a lot of traction, getting in contact with the state. Things were, conveyed to us by staff. I want an informational update on it, where we're at, because that money needs to be spent.
I actually think that we had requested that never brought forth.
Well, from the last meeting I had, we were told that we were gonna begin.
No,
So I just want to make sure that's brought back. So if I could get a
Do you
second.
want to second that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Councilmember Marquez seconds that.
And then I would like an informational update on the CDBG grant status, the grants from, the grant money from 2014 that's been frozen all these years. I'd like a formal update on the CDBG grants that have been frozen and where they're at. We were told that they were being worked on from the last update, like 2 months ago, so I'd like another update. Can I get a second, please?
I second.
Thank you. Also, I would like to request that on the January 7th meeting, if we can have a discussion action item on the LTA funds for the Caltrans short-term plan. And also on the January 7th meeting, also a discussion action item for the LTA money or the LTA funds for the streets, and also to give direction for public outreach, council input, and to agendize a special meeting so we could just talk streets and invite members of the public so we can get feedback on streets and sidewalks and potentially bike paths so we can use LTA money that we've had since 2012.
And you want that on the January
7th.
January 7th agenda?
Yes.
Okay, just a quick note, we don't have a meeting on the 7th, so.
We're not going to have it?
Correct.
Okay, so that's canceled?
Oh, so
Yeah,
then
that
the
was-
first meeting in January.
The first meeting in January would be the 21st.
Okay.
So on the 21st.
So I second that too.
Thank you.
My only question is this, weren't we supposed to have a special meeting where we were gonna decide on what was gonna be
Yeah,
our
the capital, so is that separate from the capital improvement?
Yeah, that's separate. Yeah, so that's just specifically for the LTA money. We've had this money since, it's two different bonds that were passed, one in 2012 and one in 2018, and there's approximately $18 million that haven't been used for the local streets, local transportation.
All right.
Anything else?
Oh, yeah, I'd also like to, oh, well, no, that's fine, that's all, thank you.
Councilmember Marquez?
I don't have any particular items that I want to bring back, but I do want to touch on something that was done today, which is a violation of the agenda policy. Want you guys to make you aware that once an agenda is posted, you must amend that agenda. And it must be posted for 72 hours before we have the meeting. And we cannot ignore that. We can get in trouble. The citizens have the right to know what's going to be on the agenda. And I understand that you pulled the item, which is fine. But I just want to make sure that the council is aware that we are required to post an agenda 72 hours in advance. Thank you.
I can address that, Mayor. So the council member is correct. So if you're going to vote on anything on the agenda, it has to be posted 72 hours. But there's no prohibitions in the Brown Act of removal of an item that you're not going to discuss at that meeting.
Okay, anything else? No? Councilmember Calderon? Well, I wasn't sure if you were done. You're done? Okay. Councilmember Calderon.
Yes, you know, I agree with the closing of the parks, but it's a little more complicated here. We have to have a curfew for our juveniles out there. And we can close the parks, but if we don't have a curfew for our kids running around, so we need to also incorporate the curfew hours, because I think we don't have one, or we haven't updated one. So you want to?
So we do have a curfew for juveniles. It's my recommendation that if we're going to go to closing the parks, that it should mirror the curfew that we already have.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chief, for clarifying. And also, I mean, we sit up here and we have a lot of good ideas, And a lot of times, as you can hear, we say, well, I mentioned that like 2 months ago and nothing has happened. So I'd like a list for the clerk to write a list of every suggestion that this board or council puts out here, and so we can actually keep track of when these items are coming to the council and make sure that your voices are heard. Again, if we don't go back through the recording, we wouldn't know what we said before. So if we have a list, we can always refer to the list, and also who motioned and who seconded and so forth, so we know that item should be on the list as soon as possible. On the agenda, I'm sorry. And that's all I have. I don't know if someone wants to second that, but I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I second it.
Yeah.
I second it.
So,
Okay.
and I don't have any other comments other than,
Can I make a comment? It's, so, I'm sorry, I have another informational item I want to add. The Nosotros Park has structures that are extremely unsafe, and they need to be removed yesterday. So if I can get a second for us to get an update at the next meeting on what's going on, or what's the plan to ensure that the park is safe, especially because those structures are like falling apart, and it's just easy money. So we need to ensure that something happens between now and the next council meeting. So if we can get an update, I don't know if you've seen them, but
what
it's
are you
really
talking
bad.
about, the jungle
There's-
gym?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
we
structure's
should just
falling
remove
apart.
it.
Yeah,
remove
I
it
don't.
completely.
It's falling apart.
Yeah.
It's really dangerous.
I'll
So
second
if
it.
we
Well, at
can
least
get,
remove the
I got a
parts that are
second
falling
by
apart.
Councilmember Legaspi, I got a second. So if we can get an update on what's going on with that equipment, and pretty much all the equipment, we need an informational item, a report on how the equipment is at all the parks. We can't have kids on equipment that's dangerous.
Yeah.
So,
what's your request, Ms. Thailand, and I'll second it. I agree with that.
I guess an informational item on the Nosotros Park first and foremost, because the equipment in the jungle gym areas just needs to be gone. And then, in addition, an update on the other parks, if there's anything that's deemed unsafe, when is it going to be removed? Is it taped up? Is it fenced off? What are we doing? Please, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I just had a comment, Mayor and Council. Our next council meeting is on December 17th, and that's, the changing of, positions and so forth on the council. That's usually, I think it is here too, supposed to be a lighter agenda. Based on what I'm hearing tonight and some other items, I just don't want to create the expectation that it's going to be a light agenda. It's not at this point. So
It
is
should
that
be on
okay?
the agenda because that's what the policy states. So we have to follow policy. So everything that we just asked, especially because we're not having a meeting the first meeting in January, that's not optional. It's on the policy, and that's what it is. If we ask for it here and we get a second, it has to be on the agenda.
Yeah. So I'm just my comments are just to say that the agenda won't be light, and that's the goal
okay.
normally, but that's fine. Just want to make sure the council understands that.
No, yeah, he was saying because of the change of the mayorship, but I mean, if you guys don't mind that it's not light, I don't mind, because we're not having a meeting in January, and these are important things that we've been asking for.
Yeah, I don't mind. I didn't have that expectation. I do want to get this information.
Most of them are informational item anyway. Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi, were you going to make a change?
Yeah, just for the records, the two items that I had asked for them to be informational items.
Yes.
Yeah, mine are informational for the most part, and then the next meeting in January, so plenty of time, yeah.
Okay, and I am going to, I don't know if this is informational. I would like it to, so I don't give you, but if not, I'll do a staff report on it. So, talking about parks, there's there's a specific part that we all know that's an issue, which is nosotros, where it gets graffitied, and the next day it gets painted, and then it gets graffitied, and then it gets painted, and it's happened like 6, 7, 8 times in the past 3 weeks, if not more. So what is it gonna take, or yeah, maybe if we can get an informational item on the idea by the police department or somebody to install a camera. We know they're coming back. I think it's a waste of resources to have a patrol unit just sitting there waiting for them to come, but we know they're coming back. So, and we need to catch them because we have community members going there every day painting, and it's becoming a game, and now they're even graffitiing names on them. So, whatever needs to get done, maybe just inform us what you guys decided would be a good idea, but it needs to stop. We know they're going to come back, 100% probability that they're coming back. So what can we do to catch them when they do? So that's my item, if I can get a second.
Second.
And then last but not least, I did ask the attorney if I could talk about this. There's an item that the council has been discussing in closed session that we've already discussed enough. And stop me but there's an item that we've been discussing for many months that we've already come to some sort of agreement, but I want to put it on the next agenda for a vote to give it a date and it has to do with the business hours. So I would like to, and I'll do the staff report, but I would like to put on the agenda that the council vote the next session on the effect, or when city buildings, and let me go back a little bit. So this weekend, we had Thanksgiving, and the city closed Thursday, Friday, and Monday. And we came in a meeting on Monday at 8:30 in the morning, and we were here for an hour and a half in that meeting. Was it? Oh, it was Tuesday because Monday was closed. And we were here for an hour and a half.
Mayor, there's a discussion that you could probably have at the next meeting. You could just ask for the request to be placed on the next council meeting, and then you can have this discussion then.
But I want to vote in public.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. So I want to bring the business hours. We want to vote in public, but I do want to say the reason why. Why? Because we were here for an hour and a half, and there was a line in the finance window all the way to the door that in that hour and a half never stopped. Just people kept coming and coming and coming, paying I think in that hour and a half, we must have seen, I don't know, like 80 people wanting to pay their bills because City Hall was closed for so long. So, yeah.
I second it.
So, yeah, Councilmember Thailenda seconded it, so I'll do the staff report. So, anything else? If we don't have anything else, then I'm gonna, do I have a motion to adjourn?
A motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thailenda?
Yes.
Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, meeting adjourned at 8:14 p.m.